Stokvels are evolving from informal to formalized entities, navigating a trial and error phase, with Sisabhekile Travel Stokvel as a prime example. Still with me in studio is Thabiso Masudubele, Stokvel and Burial Society sector expert from TyVision Media. Thabiso, it is difficult if we go back to the COVID-19 pandemic. Right at the start, it was difficult for people to be able to save. There were a lot of salary cuts, people lost their jobs, but Sisabhekile decided to make those sacrifices, and now they are able to, explore more opportunities, especially since they registered. So what did they get right in all of these years?
I think one of the things, there are a couple of things that they got right, but I'd start with the term discipline. I think they showed a great amount of discipline and they showed a great amount of commitment to their cause. So remember, one of the things that holds Stokvels together is the common purpose. And the common purpose is the desire to travel as a group. And then they made sure that despite the challenges that they have, they all knew what the common objective was. They shared it. And they share the same discipline and commitment towards that. Because a lot of the time you see the Stokvel, as soon as there's a challenge, one member starts not paying and starts doing something else, and then the other member doesn't also pay, and then the admin is also not strong enough. So the other thing that I think they got correct was making sure that their admin was in order. So you might find a group is able to save money, but because their administration isn't up to scratch, then the group falls apart. Just basic record keeping and all of those things. So I think those are some of the things that this particular group got right to make sure that they continue existing and they do the things that they actually set out to do.
A concern is sticking out for me right now, and maybe it's we can look at it as a form of an opportunity. So they also act as a lending Stokvel group as well, where people can come in and take loans. Would that be a disaster, a recipe for disaster? Or in their case, it can be used as an opportunity for growth?
If not properly managed, it can lead to a financial disaster. But in the same breath, they say where there's risk, there's opportunity. So in the very same breath, there's also opportunity. But it's not something that we encourage. Remember, with Stokvels, a lot of Stokvels also try to use that process as passive income, if you will. So they lend money to members. As long as Stokvels, remember that you can't lend money outside of the Stokvel, because then you'd have to go through the various legal processes and regulatory authorities. So as long as we are in a group and money is changing hands between members of the group, that's quite fine. And it is an opportunity, but you've got to make sure that you've got, again, the admin and the systems in place to ensure that if we've given Nonto money, Nonto has signed something that says Nonto owes us money and Nonto commits to pay such and such. And you look at the things that Nonto can do to make sure that she does return this particular money. So it is an opportunity, but then again it goes back to what their prime objective is. If their prime objective is being a travel Stokvel, I think that's where the focus should be. So if they've got a dual objective of being a travel Stokvel and then also going into business, that's something else. But it's to always say what are our focus areas and not be distracted by, opportunities will come up every now and again. The key becomes focusing on what you set out to do from the get-go and sticking to that. And if you're going to change direction, go back to your constitution and say, initially this is what we had set out to do, but as the years go by, we've now realized that it's this, and then have a different constitution for that particular purpose. So you can't use a travel Stokvel constitution for a money lending Stokvel, as it were.
Our traditional financial advisors, they do treat this area a bit dicey. And before the break, we were just talking about the investment opportunities or even partnerships with, the department, the tourism department. But is there enough being done to forge that relationship?
Look, I think a lot can be done. I think one of the challenges that we have with this particular sector is that people see an opportunity to make a bit of money in this market without necessarily going into the market and understanding how to develop mutually beneficial relationships. So I think a lot can be done, and not only with travel with tourism. In the different provinces, you've got tourism commissions, you've got SA Tourism, you've got all of these bodies, and then you've also got the private sector that's looking to get clients. And so Stokvels as groups, people are always trying to target them to travel. But I think not enough attention goes into understanding the Stokvels and creating packages that would work for the Stokvel. And I think the approach, there is room for improvement in how Stokvels are generally viewed. I think the premise is, how can we make money out of Stokvels? It's an opportunity. And so businesses look at them as an opportunity. But what we always try to encourage, even in our engagements with businesses, is to say, guys, look at how you can create value for the groups so that the relationship becomes mutually beneficial rather than one-sided. Because Stokvels are actually, they're quite bright, and they do see through deals that are one-sided that will benefit people. So in short, I think there's a lot more that can be done from, hospitality-based companies, government institutions, to make sure that we harness on the opportunity and the potential that exists for Stokvels, especially with local travel. People do travel. You find we've engaged with lots of groups, for instance, in Limpopo, who enjoy traveling down to KZN, to the beach, and so on. But we haven't seen how, government instruments and private sector are actually coming to the party to make sure that people are assisted accordingly.
I would also like us to tap into how travel Stokvel groups can plan or secure the best deals. And I think that's the meaty part that our audience would really like to look out for. So please stay with us for more on Zaka Stokvel Insights. We'll be back shortly.